This video will demonstrate the correct procedures and basic rules that must be followed for everyone to enjoy shooting safely here at Parma Woods. You must check in at the registration building. First and foremost, be mindful of your muzzle direction at all times, especially on your uncased firearms. Keep your cased firearms in the case and place them on the ground. For any uncased firearms, be sure to have the action open. Make sure the firearm is completely empty. Tracer, pyrotechnic, armor-piercing, or projectiles containing any steel are not allowed at Parma Woods. Touchscreen computer kiosks have been installed for your convenience at registration. Simply scan your driver's license, conservation ID, or you can enter your information manually. Follow the prompts to determine how many will be shooting and what type of shooting you are planning to do. The screen above the kiosk will keep you informed as to your position and wait time. You will be called to the window to pay the small fee and will be assigned a shooting position. Spotting scopes and bore sighting assistance is available on request.
Okay, sir, you'll be in booth 17. You can head on down.
Remember, at Parma Woods, hearing and eye protection is mandatory, so be sure to put it on before you go down to the firing line. Please do not wear any firearms at Parma Woods. It is nearly impossible to draw a firearm from a holster being worn without violating rule number 1. Rule number 1 is keep your muzzle pointed straight up at all times, or when inside your booth, downrange or straight up only. Here at Parma Woods, you may only transport firearms when the range is in commence fire. You will know when it's in commence fire by the following. You hear shooting and/or the range lights are red. You can locate your assigned booth by the designated numbers on the center of each table. You'll need to secure all of your uncased handguns in the handgun rack. If you have large scoped handguns that don't seem secure in the handgun rack, you may place them in the long gun rack. Once your firearms are secured, post your booth card. You can then post your paper target on the target backer. Next, you'll grab your target frame and exit your booth. Hook the chain across the back of your booth and you'll turn your indicator plate to green. Take a seat on the bench behind your booth and wait for the next ceasefire to be called.
Ceasefire, ceasefire. Shooters unload all firearms, lock all actions open, remove any detachable magazines. Place all firearms.
Be sure to listen to and follow all instructions given over the PA. When the range is in ceasefire, all your boxes, bags, and cases must be inside the booth.
The line is clear. Shooters on the firing line. You may proceed downrange.
The ceasefire will occur each quarter hour. The range officer will release everybody to go downrange at the same time to adjust their targets. If you need extra pins or targets, you will find them in the center aisle. The yardage markers are painted on the center sidewalk as you walk downrange. The shooting distances on the short range side are 7, 15, 25, and 50 yards. On the long range side, they're set at 25, 50, 75, and 100 yards. Any firearm that is allowed at Parma can be fired on either the short or long range side. Your posting position has a corresponding number with your assigned booth. For example, go out to the 25-yard marker, find your assigned booth number, and post your target. Once you have your target posted where you want it, return to your booth and flip your plate to orange. Take a seat on the bench while you wait for the command to re-enter your booth.
Range is clear. You may re-enter your booth, keeping your muzzle pointed downrange. Load and commence fire.
Once you've been released to go back inside your booth, you can uncase your firearm. If you have 2 firearms in a double case, this is the proper procedure we want you to follow here at Parma Woods. When you open the case, remove the firearm that has the muzzle pointed downrange first. Then spin the case around and you will have the other muzzle pointed downrange. For those that have the action that doesn't lock open, chamber flags are available to use. Place the firearm muzzle up in the long gun rack. All shooters must maintain control of their firearms at all times. Keep the muzzle either straight up or downrange. No rapid fire. Allow 3 seconds between each shot. No more than 2 people in a booth at a time. No more than 1 firearm being handled at a time for any reason. When you finish shooting, remove the magazine and lock your action open. If your action doesn't lock open, you can use one of the chamber flags that we provide. Place the flag in the chamber and place the firearm muzzle up in the rack.
Cease fire, cease fire. Shooters unload all firearms, lock all actions open.
Shooter, during a ceasefire, you may not re-enter your booth or handle any firearms, cased or uncased.
After you've received the "line is clear" announcement, you may either change your target or return your frame to the booth if you have finished. When you return to your booth, turn your indicator plate to either orange if you plan to continue shooting, or turn it to black if you're ready to check out. Once you've been released to go back inside your booth, you'll need to gather up your gear and case your firearms, making sure that your muzzle's pointed downrange when you do so. You'll also need to clean up your booth. That includes sweeping up your brass, any shotgun hulls, and putting it in the yellow barrels. Unfired or misfired rounds may also be deposited in the yellow barrels. Pick up all trash, including paper targets, and place them in the trash barrels at the end of the sidewalk. Please read and understand the rules on your range card before shooting, and ask questions if anything is not understood. Once you've gathered your gear and cleaned your booth, you'll need to grab your yellow card and head back to the registration window to check out. Thank you for choosing Parma Woods.